Welcome back to Frontside Press. Why do we look fuzzy?
Is it just, I thought maybe it was just me because it always looks fuzzy on my end. But there we go. Now, look at that. Now it looks clear.
Does it look clear now?
No, it still looks fuzzy. Now it looks like a normal video.
No, it doesn't. Hold on.
To me, it does. So nobody touch nothing.
Hold on.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to turn this on.
The light.
A dead air. Welcome to Frontside Press.
Well, then talk.
8-ish. Coming to you clear and or fuzzy. From not anybody's basements, but people's houses, bedrooms, wherever.
Hold on.
So, another episode of Frontside Press brought to you by Jeff and Mike. You can catch us live every Thursday at 8-ish. Really pushing it tonight, 8:19. That's about it. That's ishy-ish. But 8-ish every Thursday. You can follow us on Frontside Press on Facebook, or you can like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Musings with MGL. Every Thursday. Like and share, subscribe. Got to get those numbers up. I am still not at 1,000 subscribers, so if anybody
what's your number?
Anybody out there who wants to subscribe, let me know. 982.
Oh, what the hell?
I don't know. Where's all your face? I was informed when I signed up for this gig that you guys are reaching like 500,000 people across the globe. So I thought it'd be pretty easy to get up to 1,000 subscribers, but apparently
maybe they don't like you.
Those are the good old days before Facebook algorithms and God knows what else. Well, speaking of Facebook jail, Mike, are you in Facebook jail?
I'm supposed to be in Facebook jail, and I think that's what's happening right now. Like, is there anybody? Well, you wouldn't know because is there anybody out there watching us on Facebook?
It's live.
All right, cool.
You personally may be in Facebook jail, but there's no reason the Frontside Press should be in Facebook jail. Obviously, Musings with MGL is not in Facebook jail. I have surprisingly, and all the time I've been on Facebook and all the crap I posted, I received like a 24-day or 24-hour ban. And what had happened was, to quote most of my clients, somebody posted something and like I couldn't read it. Like their English, you've seen these things on Facebook. Their English is atrocious. Their spelling, punctuation, or whatever. And it wasn't a friend. It was like an article or like a meme on like one of these leftist liberal sites or whatever. Yep. And I went in the comment section and I said, "Man, your English teacher should be shot." Joke, right? Obviously, I'm not advocating for this person's English teacher to be shot. It was your English teacher should be shot because you clearly don't know how to freaking spell or use commas or periods. And no, it got flagged for threatening behavior or abusive behavior or whatever. And I got a 24-hour ban. So that's my only. I consider it a badge of honor to get banned.
I got like sentenced to 1 month for a post from friggin' June of 2021.
Years ago?
Yeah. And what it was the picture of the Taliban sitting around the table when they got all our weapons and guns and everything that Biden gave them.
Yeah, right? After he bailed out, right? Yep.
I'm like, this looks like a good guy. These guys look fair. You know, everything should be all right. It'll be better now. I'm like, we got a great leader. Right? That's what I put. And I probably put like, let's go Brandon or something like that. And then it got took down for, like, I don't know if they took it down because I'm not going back 2 friggin' years to find it. Right?
Right.
But it was supporting terrorism. I'm like, okay.
So Cat's on.
Well, then the WhiteHouse.gov should be taken down then because they were the ones that gave him all that shit.
Exactly. I didn't support shit.
Right. My comment on it gets me banned, but the actual giving of all those firearms to terrorists does not give you a ban. So welcome to Joe Biden's America.
There it is. Kat, thank you very much for the awesome cookies.
And Pickle says happy birthday, Mike.
And the gift card. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So was that Facebook's present to you on your birthday? Was
Yeah,
a
it was,
band?
yep, put me in jail.
Happy
So
birthday,
now
Mike. Your
I gotta
fan.
wait. Like I gotta go on there and see if I can actually see like if anybody put happy birthday to me, and then I don't know if they'll let me comment though.
Yeah. So no, my band just prevented me from commenting and doing stuff. Like I could still go on there and see other people's stuff, but I couldn't post my own stuff or comment because they're not going to kick you off completely because they still want you to get the ads that get sent to
Right.
you when your microphone listens to you talking about cars or tools or something, and then or vacations, and then you start getting the ads. They're not gonna lose out on that sweet ad money. They're just gonna tell you can't post your own shit.
Right. Like I got this shirt. I don't know if you can see it. Like,
No, you can't.
there
We can't see it.
There we go. It says, "You can't scare me. I have 3 kids." I got that from Gabriel. That was Gabriel's present to me.
Nice.
We got to do the toast, and you got to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to do a happy birthday toast since it's your birthday. Everybody grab your libations of choice to celebrate Michael's birthday.
Nice and short. To you. Cheers. Happy birthday.
You had to read that?
There you go.
It's like
A woman of few words, or toast of few words to
You
a
have
man
to
of lots of
like,
words.
I saw you go over the phone. I'm like, oh, I thought this was to you. Happy birthday. Like, oh, good thing we looked that one up.
yeah.
Took a while to search that.
Oh, you got to look for my boy Jamie checking in tonight. I want to know if he's checking in. He's like, hey, I caught you the other night. I'm like, if you think, these shows are good, you should have seen season 1.
Oh my gosh. That was
We got to get back to
talking
season
about?
1.
These shows are great. These are better than anything you've ever done in the past. That's why people should like and subscribe and follow the channels.
They definitely should like and subscribe and definitely follow you.
We should get back to
and,
season 1.
Subscribe to you on YouTube so we can get over
On
82.
But on season 1, weren't you like being shot with tasers or
Oh yeah.
rubber
Shot with
bullets
tasers,
and crazy shit like that?
Or stun gun vest. Shot with a blank gun so you can put a tourniquet on me.
We should definitely get back
by
to that.
a beer company. Things were good.
Yeah.
We got to get back. We got to get back to the day.
Yeah, I agree. We got to get some sponsors,
It's
and
like
we got to get you electrocuted, shot. What else can we
Yep.
do? You drowned. I don't know. There's
People,
probably a
you
bunch
know
of
what?
other
I
stuff we
forgot
can do.
my jalapenos.
Oh.
Doc gave me
Kicked in the
jalapeno. I wanted
balls.
to eat one.
You want me to go get it? Where's the-
Yeah.
get it?
There's like one that's half green, half red.
Okay.
Like cut the end off.
You just want the red?
No, I want the whole thing without the stem. Like cut the stem off.
Okay. All right. Got it.
And like the seeds or something. Put
Well, yeah.
cheese in it, they said, or something like that.
Take the seeds out, put cheese in it.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
So I got
Well, those
go
ahead.
a bag of jalapenos from Maria Misat, Dr. Misat, right? And they're red jalapenos. She goes, I don't know, if you leave them on the stem a little bit longer, they go from green to red. And then she goes, and they don't get sweeter. So I'm like, I'm going to eat one. She goes, they're hot. They're really hot. I'm like, I'm going to eat one on the show. So we should have advertised that. Watch Mike burn the crap out of his mouth.
Right. That's what. Yeah. Don't eat it just for free. We gotta pump that up and have a.
We got to have a meeting.
What you need to do, like you need to have. We'll rip off other people. There's this show where this guy does like hot wings challenges. So he has all these movie stars come on, and then they have like levels of hot wings that go from kind of medium to whatever. And he does like a 20-minute interview, and he has them eat like the hot wings, and he'll ask them a question about their movie or whatever, and they're trying to answer, and they're crying, and they're cussing at him. They're like, "F you." They can't have any milk or water or whatever. We need to rip off something like that and try and do a show where we're eating all these hot things. And I want to see if you're able to yell treasonous bitches when you have like 3 Mile Island sauce in your mouth.
We'll figure it out. We'll see how well I do with this. I'll tell you what, we went to this Mexican restaurant like 2 weeks ago, right? It's across from Bullseye, okay? They have great food there. Great food, right? And I went there like 4 times in a week, and 3 of the times I got this like steak bowl, rice steak bowl. It was really, really, really good. But the last one I'm looking at the menu and it says spicy. And I'm like, I like spicy. So I order it, right? So it shows up. So I go to eat like one of the shrimp and I eat it. and it's like my lips go numb. It feels like somebody's stabbing them with needles. My tongue's burning. And I'm looking at Mavi. I'm like, oh, it's awesome. And I didn't have a drink yet. And Mavi gives me hers, and I'm just like drinking his water. I'm like, that is painfully hot. And she's like, well, just tell me you want something else. I'm like, you kidding me? I'm going to eat it. And I got done. You know, I'm sweating. My mouth's on fire. And the waitress comes over. I go, hey, how spicy is this? Right? Because I don't want to be like, oh, my mouth's burning. She'd be like, oh, you kidding me? That's what we call mild, you know? So she's like, oh, that's like the hottest of the second hottest that we serve here because depending on who's making it. So I felt better. Had a little, little credit. I don't want to be all pansied out for like something that's medium. You know what I mean? So
Right.
finding out it was the hottest thing they had. But holy crap, was it hot. Still good. Do you see the one where the guys were eating the gummy bears?
Mm-mm.
They're like this big.
Hot gummy bears?
Yeah, hot gummy bears. So they got a bunch of them. They got
No, I
two
have not.
packages, right? One of them's got like jalapeno, habanero, whatever, right? And then they had ghost pepper, and then they had Carolina Reaper, right? So they cut the head off, and they cut that, they cut it, and they each take a bite of the jalapeno, and they're like, woo, woo, they're sitting around, they chew for a couple seconds, and all of a sudden their face just changes, like, oh, it's got some heat. It's got some heat, right? Then they're like, all right. Then they do the habanero one, and they're tasting it, and they're like, well, it's got the same flavor, like it's got good flavor like the other one, but this one doesn't really have any heat. Doesn't have any heat, right? So then they move up to the ghost pepper one, right? And then they eat that one, and they're like, yeah, it's got good flavor. And then both of them at the same time, all of a sudden go, ooh, oh, it's getting hot, ooh, ooh, like that, right? They go, that one's hot, like that. So I'm like, all right, let's do the California, the Carolina Reaper one. Let's do the Reaper one, right? So they're kind of like dance, like waiting. And all of a sudden they're like, and they both go, all right, let's do it. So they eat it, right? And they just sit there, and in like 1 second, their face changes, and they're just going like, it's so hot. It doesn't even have flavor. It's just pain. It tastes like pain. And I was like, oh, there you go. That's worth 50,000 views.
That's the thing with YouTube's funny these days. That's what gets you the views. People burning their mouths, getting kicked in the balls.
It's like this. Everybody always likes it. We get more views if I get hurt. If I do something,
right? That's what I'm saying.
Get hurt on. Like
you want to get back to season one.
We did last season. We did shot me with the UTM rounds.
Right, you got shot with those little round.
Like a bunch of people showed up. And I was like,
they are.
I had like 3 shirts on. I'm like, all right, go ahead, shoot me. Because people are like, oh my god, they got to split you open. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Mm-hmm. They shot me. I'm like, that didn't feel like anything. So I take a sweatshirt off. I'm like, shoot me. I'm like, that didn't feel like anything. They shoot me with a t-shirt. I'm like, oh, I kind of felt that one, because at this point it's like you better do something because everybody's here watching. They want to see you get hurt. So I'm like, all right, go ahead and just go ahead and shoot me. I'm like, oh yeah, that one. That's a good one. I just had to do something. Oh, here we go.
We came there for that show. My daughter and I, we wanted to come watch you get shot.
See, everybody likes when I get hurt.
All right, welcome to Hot and Spicy Talk with Mike and Jeff. Tune in every Thursdays for talk about hot and spicy thing
What is that?
Related to guns.
Well, she's on there eating a brie cheese by herself?
No, I just opened it. Why am I supposed to open that?
We're going to cut this clip out and label it old man on his birthday eats hot pepper or whatever, and then we'll get 100,000 views on that one.
All right, so this is from Doc. All right.
How is it? Hot?
It was good. It's coming. Here it comes. Ooh, here it comes. Yep.
You need some more brie.
Like that's Now we may have to do another one of these. I feel like I'm cheating the audience because
Too small.
yeah, we need. Oh, you gotta let him in,
Yeah.
please. All right, here's the other half of it.
No.
Percy, you can't have any of this cheese.
Nor can he have my
Don't knock the light over. Good boy. What a good boy.
Yeah, you're a good puppy.
Feeling all right?
Yeah, I think we should do a bigger one.
Down.
Hey,
Down.
you feel like going downstairs one more time?
Sure.
All right, give me a bigger one, please.
Okay. You want to fill up with brie again?
Yeah, put some brie in it. The brie's good.
Nice.
It's get an all red one. I kind of cheated because I was afraid. But it's pretty good. I got cookies and jalapenos on my birthday. It was a good day.
And a t-shirt. And
T-shirt, I got
and a Facebook ban.
How about that?
And your favorite candidate for president just got indicted and is probably going to be turning himself in with a booking photo here any day now.
They're going to arrest Trump.
Happy
now?
birthday.
Why are they
You
arresting
didn't see
Trump?
all this? You're not aware of this breaking news?
I work.
I thought you quit.
Saturday is my last concealed weapons class.
All right, there you go. So you put in your notice. So yeah, no. So you haven't heard? Oh, Trump's been indicted.
On what charges?
Paying off the porn star.
It's not illegal.
You want me to get into the details? So I am wearing my Trump hat.
Yep.
In solidarity for Trump. So yeah, this whole nonsense that they were talking about last week. He said he was going to be arrested. They didn't do anything about it last week, but he has been indicted by the district attorney for the city of New York for. So the general concept is if you recall, allegedly he had sex with Stormy Daniels. Now he's denied that ever happened, but she claims that he had sex with her. During the campaign, they had sex a long time ago. During the campaign, they paid her $150,000 and made her sign an NDA so she wouldn't tell everybody that they had sex. Because at the time he was married to Melania and he had an affair, and they allegedly didn't want that to come out during the campaign or whatever. So somebody paid her $150,000 to basically keep her mouth shut. And nothing ever came of it. Everybody knew about it. Nobody cared. They voted for him anyway. The theory is, I'm going to try not to get into the weeds here, but the theory is that is a campaign expense. So he paid that money out of his personal funds. So first his lawyer paid the lady, and then he paid his lawyer back and marked it down as legal fees. So when he filed his paperwork, you had to file campaign and legal reporting paperwork in the city of New York. He said that it was personal legal fees. Their position is that it was not personal legal fees, that it was a campaign expense, because he says he paid her off to spare his wife's feelings. He pays off these people all the time when they come at him with claims of these things like that. He's done it several times in the past. So his position is that was a personal payoff. Their position is it was a campaign payoff, that the reason he paid it was so that she would keep her mouth shut because he thought it would affect his election. If it was a campaign expense, then he has to report that on a piece of paper in the city of New York that says this was a campaign expense. But because he marked on the paper it was a personal expense, that's a crime in the state of New York. It's falsifying business records or falsifying official records or something like that is what the charge is. So they're not charging him with sleeping with Stormy Daniels, even again, he denied it, or even paying her off. They're saying it's basically a paperwork error because he marked the wrong box on this form. Now, the Federal Elections Commission investigated this allegation, and they said, yeah, there's no crime here. We're not going to do anything with it. And they dropped the charge. This was in 2016, by the way. So now we're going back 7 years 7 years, 8 years, that all of this came out. The alleged sex happened like in 2006 or something ridiculously long time ago. And so they're prosecuting him for paperwork that he misfiled 7 years ago for sex that he had 15 years ago or whatever it is. And there is now a felony indictment out for his arrest. So yes, at some point he will have to turn him. They're going to let him turn himself in. Like they're not going to raid his house and handcuff him and extradite him to New York. They're just going to make an arrangement, right? Yeah, they're going to make an arrangement because the Secret Service has to go with him everywhere he goes. By the way, so even if they arrest him and put him in a jail cell, guess what? There's got to be a Secret Service agent with him 24/7 while he's in the jail cell. So that's going to be interesting depending on where this goes. But theoretically, he is going to have to turn himself in. So he's going to fly to New York at some point. He is going to turn himself in. They're going to fingerprint him. They're going to take his mugshot. Then that mugshot's going to be all over the place. So yes, as of right now, about 3 or 4 hours ago, they issued an indictment for a felony charge, and there's going to be an arrest of former President Donald Trump.
This is all they can come up with everything they've tried to do to him. This is all they got. And it doesn't have to be true. They just have to bring him up on charges.
There's several other ongoing investigations still. They're still claiming that he interfered with Georgia with election fraud. They're still claiming there's a special prosecutor indictment for January 6th. So he still has 3 or 4 other investigations out there, but this is the only one so far that has produced an indictment. So yes, after all the years of going after him, what they have is a paperwork charge.
Like when can we sue these people? When can we put them in jail? For all this crap. You know what? I'd rather have this burn my mouth than talk about this ignorant shit.
Yeah. Can you eat it and say treasonous bitches at the same time?
Treasonous bitches.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's not really gun related, but it's obviously a very important topic for the country of America right now.
Everyone's hotter.
First ever.
The red's hotter, more painful.
President in the history of the world to be indicted or arrested, or the history of the country. So it'll be interesting.
All right, this one's definitely hotter. It hurts my tongue.
Be careful when you kiss Snuffy goodnight tonight. Her lips are going to burn too.
DeSantis has already said he's not going to cooperate with the state of Florida is not going to assist any sort of extradition. There won't need to be extradition because they'll let him voluntarily do it. But he already said they're not going to assist with any sort of extradition. So it'll be interesting.
That's my boy.
So the question of the day is,
how hot is it? Hot.
Do you think this will hurt or help his chances to get the nomination and or presidency?
It's like this. People hate him because of the way he acts. I don't give a shit. You know what? They want everybody to hate him because of the way he acts. Wow, my tongue is on fire.
Have some more Cheetos.
Right, I'm gonna interview you while your mouth is burning to see how good you do. We'll get thousands of views.
Give it to me.
Your eyes are watering.
The red doesn't make it. Not if he's innocent.
There's nothing in the. Well, it doesn't matter. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't be president if you're a convicted felon. You could be under indictment. You could have prior criminal histories. It's not a list of. No, the Constitution is the law for who gets to be president. So there's a list of qualifications in the Constitution, such as, born in America over whatever the age thing is. I think it's 37 or whatever. There's like that list of 3 or 4 things that qualify you to be president, and non-convicted is not on that list. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. I mean, theoretically, he could be in jail and be president. Like, he could get sentenced to prison and be president from behind bars. There's nothing in the Constitution that prevents that. It'd be a weird logistical situation to have, but there's nothing in the Constitution that prevents that. So this won't have any effect on his campaign. He's going to keep running.
It's like this.
We'll see what happens.
They keep making shit up, right? Blowing it all up. Oh, he's guilty of. Oh, they find out that he's not. They find him innocent, right? Oh,
Maria said
what makes you think a liberal New York jury would find Donald Trump innocent of kicking a dog?
We find him innocent.
Like, that's
of
the problem.
everything. And then they just keep going. They keep trying to find, because Nancy Pelosi said it doesn't have to be true. We just have to say it. And no one said anything about it when she said that. And I was like, did everybody just hear what she said? Yeah. Wow, those are good. Treasonous bitch.
Lee Davis is watching.
What up, Lee?
Joe Howard says, "Happy birthday, Mike. Miss you."
Oh, he's one of my kids. That was my tall son.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. He looked just like me. He's like 6'5", good looking, red hair, thin, athletic build. We're almost twins. People all used to say, "Is that your kid?" Yep. We can tell he looks just like you, even though he's like 2 feet taller than you.
Pablo's on. Hey, Rocket Man.
Pablo. It's good to hear from Joe.
Dead air.
Well, my tongue's on fire.
I'm waiting for him to stop. You're right. I'm waiting for him to stop breathing and stop having a runny nose and stop sneezing.
Oh, now my nose is running.
Yep. Pablo says, "Happy birthday, brother."
Thank you, Pablo. Ugh. May have to have another one.
So is that going to make you not vote for Trump?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, you would think that people would realize what actually is going on. Percy, that's my knee. But they don't. They're just happy that they're trying to arrest him because they don't like his tweets. Like, all they do is just go after him. And it's like, you can say whatever you want, right? Everything's freaking dog.
Yeah, I'm afraid to touch him because I got peppers on my hands.
Ugh. Oh.
Don't pet your dog.
I'm in my nose, like on the side of my nose. I haven't got the, like, I don't know if I can use this.
Well, Maria said, "Drink milk or eat cheese." It helps.
I'm gonna suffer it out. I'm out of water. My nose is running.
Ricodato says, "Happy birthday."
Thank you, Rick.
Maria wants to know, what are the chances that Trump will be convicted? It's a bunch of New Yorkers, don't know
Right.
how many might be pro-Trump. See more. I can't see more. What else?
Well, Chicago is MAGA country, not New York, from what Jesse Smollett says. But so here's the situation. So again, not to get too bogged down on the weeds, the paperwork crime that we're talking about, marking the wrong box, is a misdemeanor. In the state of New York, the statute of limitations on a misdemeanor is like 2 years. Remember, this happened in 2016. So it's past the statute of limitations for a misdemeanor. What the prosecutor did here is something that's never been attempted before. Is apparently this charge is a misdemeanor, but if the forging of the paperwork was for the purpose of covering up a felony, even if they can't charge you with a felony, but you did the paperwork because of a felony, then it can up the misdemeanor to a felony. The problem with that is I believe the statute of limitations on a felony in New York is like 5 years. So that's also outside the statute of limitations. So all the legal experts that I've seen, even ones on the left, even Democratic legal experts, have said this is probably not going to go anywhere because no matter which way you look at it, it's outside the statute of limitations and they can't bring the charge. So if you ask the question, what are the chances of him being convicted? In my opinion, if it saw the inside of a courtroom, I think the chances are pretty good that he gets convicted because, again, it is New York. Like, that's where it's going to be. He's not going to be able to have the charge transferred to Florida or somewhere that he won by 20 points during the last election. It's going to be in New York City, and most likely, based on the demographics there, you're going to get a Democratic jury pool. So is there a possibility that he could be convicted if it actually goes to trial? Of course there is, because it's all about the demographics of your jury pool. That being said, I'm not confident, and most people seem to believe that this is never going to see the inside of a courtroom for a jury trial, because as defense attorneys, of course, are going to file motions to dismiss and say it's outside the statute of limitations and you can't bring this charge. I've filed those motions numerous times down here in Florida for prosecutors who get overzealous like that. So what do I think ultimately is going to happen? He's going to be perp walked. There's going to be a photograph of him being booked. My guess is the Democrats are going to put that all over their posters. I think Trump's going to put that all over his posters, and they're both just going to use the same mugshot. And one of them's going to say, you don't want to elect this guy, he's been to jail. And the other one's going to go, elect me, I've been to jail. And so you're going to have this weird political dichotomy where everybody's going to be happy that the guy got arrested. And so you're going to have all that political nonsense. And I think ultimately, after a certain while of several motions being filed and things of that nature, this charge is eventually going to end up getting dismissed. What my concern would be, stepping outside of the defense realm and just kind of looking at it from a political standpoint, is I mentioned how he has these other investigations going on. So he's being investigated in Georgia for alleged election interference by telling them to find him some votes there when he was losing. He's being investigated still for inciting the January 6th riot. And as I mentioned, no president in the history of America has ever been indicted. So no prosecutor wants to be the first prosecutor to do that, except for this guy, because he's a lefty. He's in New York. It's not like he's going to get unelected because he did this. But most prosecutors out there care about their representations. Right. So nobody wants to be the first person to indict a president. But I believe everybody wants to be the second person to indict the president, because the first guy is going to take all the shit, because he's the one who, broke the seal, who threw out the first one, and he's going to get all the grief. This is going to be, in my opinion, a green light for these other prosecutors in places like Georgia and the special prosecutor for the January 6th to now think they have a green light to go ahead and indict him, because if they indict him, they're not going to get any of the grief because the other guy got all the grief. And so they're just going to say, well, why are you yelling at me? He indicted him first. I was just indicting him second or third or whatever. So nobody cares. So my bigger concern is that this guy was the first through the door, and now it may open the floodgates and you may get 2 or 3 other indictments. So
here's my question, right? Because I'm a simpleton, so I don't know, right?
Yes. Oh, that was a statement. That wasn't a question.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I want to know. So remember when they were going after him for Russian collusion?
Yes.
Right? And they found out what? That it wasn't him. It was Hillary Clinton and everybody else, right?
Correct.
So why didn't they go after them?
So they did go after Hillary Clinton for that very thing. So Hillary Clinton's campaign paid for the Russian dossier.
Yep.
They also did not mark that as a campaign expense. They were investigated by the federal. They were investigated by the Federal Campaign Commission, and they found that they did violate the federal campaign laws, but they fined her $100,000. That's all they did.
But they were going to hang Trump at the White House, right? They're going to hang him, put him in jail forever.
No, they're an indictment. I heard it was the January 6 people that wanted to hang Mike Pence.
Well, yeah, but, whatever.
Karen G.
Yeah, they wanted him. They thought he was doing Russian collusion. So if you're talking about federal campaign reform or violations, Hillary Clinton did the same thing by marking the box
but it's
wrong.
Okay.
They only fined her $100,000. Now that same federal commission looked at Trump's and said, we're not even going to fine you because hers is actually worse. So that body, the Federal Elections Commission, did do it fairly because they said what Hillary Clinton did was wrong and they fined her. they said what Trump did wasn't wrong at all. This isn't the Federal Elections Commission. This is a single district attorney in the city of New York, not Federal Election Commission, the city of New York. He is going forward on charges that the actual Federal Election Commission already said Trump didn't do. So this is clearly a one-man agenda to do this. This is not a legal situation. This is clearly this one guy who wants his name in the history books, because now forever his name will be in the history books as the first prosecutor who ever indicted a former president. He's going to get all kinds of praises in the city of New York. The cows on The View are going to say he's the greatest person that's ever existed on the planet. And so he's going to be fine no matter what happens with Trump's case. But so that's all this is one guy. Now, I do believe he's I don't want to minimize it and say that not the entire rest of the left doesn't want to throw Trump in jail, because of course they do. But I personally believe that they don't want to throw him in jail for this. They'd be happy to throw him in jail for Georgia because they truly believe he tried to do that. And of course they want to throw him in jail for January 6th because they thought he tried to overthrow the country. They don't want to put him in jail for this because it's stupid. And quite frankly, if they do come out with,
find out when he said that.
Well, of course, you peacefully protest. I don't know. I wasn't there. Do we know anybody that was there or allegedly?
Well, it's like this.
Nope, we don't know anybody.
When can he start, like, being charged against other people? Like, why can't he sue this guy? You know, there's got to be a legal way when they find him innocent that we can, like, tar and feather or beat this guy to death, right? Is there a legal way? Is there any legal way to do that?
No, we don't condone beating public officials to death.
I'm like legally, like I don't know what the rules are up in New York.
No.
There's no legal way.
You can murder people in New York and get out without having to post bail because they have no bail.
Right, as long as you're not Trump.
So in New York, you
probably
could in New York, but if it was against a Democratic politician,
it's a felony
probably
out there,
put you in jail.
But, you know, carjacking's okay.
Yeah, carjacking. The same prosecutor. Right. The same prosecutor has listed like
legally, maybe you can't. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. The same prosecutor has removed like 15 felonies from the felony rolls. Apparently, his office is reduced 52% of the felonies down to misdemeanors, and here he is on this case trying to take a misdemeanor and up it to a felony so he can do the prosecution. No, it's crazy. Look, there isn't a single person on the planet other than probably Joy Behar that thinks this isn't political.
Right, you know. At what point does the left finally go, wow, we have a bunch of assholes on this side? Like,
they're never going to do that because they're also assholes.
Like, I just don't. I don't.
The answer to your question is prosecutors have immunity. If you're charged with a crime and you're found not guilty at trial, you can't sue the prosecutor for prosecuting you. That's what the system is for. That's why you can hire your own lawyer. The due process is to hire a lawyer. You can't sue them. You can sue them if you can prove, let's say, for example, the prosecutor had a knife that said somebody else murdered the person. It's got other people's DNA on it or whatever, and the prosecutor hides it, and then you get convicted and get like 10 years in prison. Then they find out, oh, the prosecutor hid the knife. Then you can sue that prosecutor personally because he committed basically, extreme misconduct, et cetera, et cetera. If they just believe that you're innocent and prosecute you and you're found not guilty, you can't sue the state attorney's office or the district attorney's office for that. They have immunity for that kind of stuff.
All right, so let me just get it straight. All right, because I want to make sure
you're a simpleton.
Clear.
You've said that before. I know you. You're a simpleton. We got it.
We're good on that. Okay. So in New York, it would be illegal to beat this idiot to death for being a treasonous bitch. Is it? Yes or no?
I'm not familiar with the laws in New York, but I would imagine beating somebody to death is still technically illegal in New York.
Even if he's a treasonous bitch?
But who knows?
I'm just asking, because I don't know. I just want to know what the law is.
But I don't practice law in the city of New York. Disclaimer is I'm not a New York lawyer.
But did you stay in a Holiday Inn Express?
Hell no. I only stay in top-notch
Right.
5-star hotels, man. Penthouses for me
He's
only,
an
bitch.
attorney. He doesn't have to work, but he gets paid a lot of money.
Penthouses
So,
only.
don't be paying off people with your campaign funds. That's all I'm saying.
That's the issue. If I'm
Well,
gonna
you can just
use
check the right
use
box.
my office money to pay for a penthouse, I better claim that correctly.
So, what else we going to talk about?
So we'll see. I don't know, anything firearm related happened this past week.
Anything going on with the brace?
Nah, it's still just.
Was it this week that the ATF got their
countdown.
ass kicked in court? Oh, over the 80%
Over what?
lowers? 80% lowers? Was that last week?
I actually don't know anything about what you're talking about. Was there something in the law about 80% lowers? How did I not know that?
Yeah, they went to court.
Who didn't tell me that?
Whatever court they went to, and the judge says the verdict is you can't make laws.
Oh, that yeah, I saw that.
So I mean, what's the difference between that and braces?
There isn't one.
So how long till the judge goes, you can't make laws? How long is it going to take for that?
Well, that case has to get in. That case has to get in front of a judge. There's numerous things filed, but they have to work their way through the system. So at what time? I don't know.
Well, I'm not familiar with the law. Okay, I got questions about the law. So the ATF feels that making like 40 million Americans felons for no apparent reason, because their justifications don't make sense, right, and aren't true, are the same people that sold 1,700 guns to violent drug cartels in Mexico and then lost all the tracker signals. And that was okay. Right? Because I'm not a gun lawyer. So is selling weapons to drug cartels in Mexico, is that legal or illegal? Because I'm just trying to figure it out, because that's what the ATF did. Look, I got him stumped.
Garcia Hockey says, "Saludo, Mike."
Saludo.
Here you go. A federal judge in Texas has granted a preliminary injunction against the federal government's enforcement of the final rule regarding partially manufactured firearms, parts, and kits in a case known as Vanderstock v. Garland, which challenged the authority of the Justice Department, ATF, to regulate items that are not firearms as if they were firearms. The court's preliminary determination is pretty straightforward. It notes that SAF and Defense Distributed are likely to succeed on the merits of their case against the receiver rule. Decision was issued by Judge Reed O'Connor of the U.S. District Court in Northern District of Texas. His preliminary injunction applies to Defense Distributed and its clients. So, yes, this is what I've told people before. A single federal judge has issued an injunction. They didn't throw the rule out. They issued an injunction saying that the ATF can't enforce the rule while the other appeals and stuff go forward through the major courts. So that's what I said. The hope is for the braces. There's dozens of lawsuits out there already filed. They need to get a judge to issue an injunction that says this rule doesn't go into effect until these lawsuits go all the way through the system, most likely up to the Supreme Court. If a judge doesn't issue an injunction, then the law is going to go into effect on May 31st. If the judge issues an injunction, just like they did in the lower case, then it will be paused until the case goes all the way through. So if we can find a judge, much like this judge, who believes that the rule is invalid, they'll issue an injunction and it will put everything on hold until a final decision. So there you go.
Fran's watching. Robert Davis is watching. Maria said, Go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. What'd she say?
Maria says something to talk about shooting in Nashville and Mike's last CCW class, question mark.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about the shooting in Nashville. Obviously we'd be remiss not to mention that there was a horrible atrocity committed in the city of Nashville where 6 people were killed, including 3 9-year-olds. I heard this morning, horrible, that one of the 9-year-olds pulled the fire alarm and was shot in the head while she was pulling the fire alarm because she wanted to tell all their other students in the school to get out of the school. So she was trying to be a 9-year-old kid, was trying to be a hero and pulled the freaking fire alarm to let all her other friends out of the school while this maniac was going around trying to shoot.
But there are many people in the trans community justifying these killings.
Well, that's a whole separate issue, of course. Well, I don't think they're justifying. They're never going to justify shooting a 9-year-old, but the story quickly turned to, instead of blaming the shooter, as they always do if it's a white guy or whatever, it was saying basically, well, what do you expect? Essentially, what do you expect? You guys have been targeting this community and you've been passing laws against the community and telling them they can't swim on the swim team. Yeah. So, of course, somebody's going to go out and do that. What did you expect happen? So there's certainly a segment. It's not everybody, obviously, but there is certainly a segment out there who are somewhat trying to justify, I guess, for lack of a better term, why this happened. And that's obviously very sad. Pathetic.
Jordan Spradley says,
so
I heard there's chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah. And then the president,
stupid.
Like, here's the deal.
Right, yeah, that guy's a freaking moron. Yeah. Yep.
I wrote something
down. My
name
is Joe Biden.
And I want to,
My wife
I was going to
Joe
read
Biden.
it, but I'll just let you see what is printed right here for Biden. So,
I can't read. I don't
just
have my
something I
glasses.
Googled earlier.
He does have chocolate chip ice cream, though, a whole freezer of it. If you don't believe me, he's not joking.
Like,
no, that guy's a freaking moron.
Is a fucking idiot. Yeah. Don't even bother ringing a bell.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't.
You don't have to pay for that.
Right. It's like, when are people in this country going to start seeing this country as a country again, and not buying into this lefty friggin' agenda? It's just like, I love how all the people that act like Nazis call other people Nazis. Like, I love that. That's awesome. Like,
yeah.
I want war. Let's just.
There's all kinds of weird facets to this story. I never like to focus on the shooters. Obviously, I prefer to focus on the victims and the heroes that actually did their job in this case and went in there and shot the person and sat around with their thumb up their ass for 2 hours while people kept getting shot, or the coward from Broward was outside hiding. Right. There was great acts on their part, great heroic acts by the children. The teachers, of course, were trying to stop him, whatever the fuck she wants to call herself, doing all that stuff. But I don't like to focus on the shooters. But the politics of it is stupid, like everything else. Of course, everybody says you shouldn't have an AR, and then they talk about mental illness. But then when you point out that, let's say, the transgender community has a high level of mental illness, it's a well-documented concept that they have a higher suicide rate and everything else. And then you say, well, are you saying that transgender people shouldn't have guns? Well, no, you can't do that because now you're targeting them by saying that they can't have guns and they need to protect. Well, which is it? You can't have it both ways. There's so many hypocritical and circular arguments that go around here. I mean, they're trying to call it a hate crime, but I always hate the concept of hate crimes, because if you murder me because you want to steal my car, or because I'm white, who gives a frick? You still murdered me. So why does it get a footnote that says murdered, but because he was white or I stole his car? Murder's murder. And for the longest time, conservatives hated the concept of hate crimes. Like, why do we have hate crimes? Murder should just be murder. Now you have all the conservatives out there saying, well, this is a hate crime because they targeted a Christian group. Well, that's hypocritical. Either you believe in hate crimes or you don't believe in hate crimes. And then the people on the left are like, yeah, you shouldn't have guns. And then when you point out, well, this is a transgender person who passed all the background checks, those universal background checks that you all love, and got a gun, what are you going to do about that? Well, then it's a matter of, we got to get rid of the AR-15. But we don't even know if an AR-15 was used, because there was an AR-15, there was a Kel-Tec sub 2000, and there was a handgun. Well, which ones were used? So which ones do you want to ban? So these whole things just get so stupid.
She didn't use the AR.
Right. I mean, I don't think we know all the facts yet, but regardless, there's no evidence that it was the AR that was used. It could have been the Kel-Tec. And of course, your average idiot lefty looking at it doesn't know the freaking difference between a 9mm carbine or an AR. They're just long black
Or
guns, so they're
banana.
scary no matter what you call them. So
They're all
the
scary.
whole thing is just stupid and frustrating.
I'm too
And
much
it
of
all
a
takes
coward
away
to protect
focus from
myself. Guns are bad.
right, and it just all takes away focus from the where it should be, which is the poor victims and the heroic cops that actually went in there and did their job by shooting the person. I mean, you could go up and down the dial on this case. They had no armed guards at the school. It's a private Christian school. Why they're not hiring private security guards at their school is beyond me. They're not a public school, so they don't get the government one. But why aren't they hiring their own security guard? The doors weren't freaking locked again. How many times we need to hear that where people don't lock the doors to the school?
The doors were locked. The doors were locked. She shot her way through it.
I heard one story that said she shot her way through the lock, and then I've heard other stories that say the doors were not locked and she did not have to shoot her way through the lock.
She shot her way through.
This is the problem when
and
you get these
climbed through the
cases
door.
is you don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Well, I watched the video, so I can tell you exactly what went on. She shot her way through the window and climbed through the doors.
Maybe the other doors inside were not locked.
Right. It could be the inside interior doors. I don't know. But I've heard stories that the doors weren't
shot
locked.
Her way through 2 doors.
Yeah.
Like,
why not have security guards?
Yep. I'm like, don't do that in my kids'
the cops
school.
did great. From the time the cops got there, it was less than 3 minutes before they went to the second floor where they heard the bullets and shot her down. But it took them 10 minutes to get there. So the response time was still 13 minutes. Imagine if the response time was 0.
Yep, exactly.
Could have had some armed teachers. Could have had an armed security guard. Better locks, better windows. I don't freaking know. I mean, if all you got to do is break a window and climb through, then what's the point of having a door? Like build your school differently or something. I don't know. There's just things you could do that. But then you get people like, well, is that what you want? You want to turn our schools into like war zones where people are walking around with guns? I'm like, yeah.
They're prisons.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Have you ever seen a school in Israel? Yeah.
Guess what they don't have in Israel?
Last time you saw a school shooting in Israel. Right. You don't see any school shootings in Israel. You see idiots lobbing things across the border, hitting guards in the face, but you don't see school shootings in Israel. You want to know why? Because everybody's walking around with a freaking AR on their shoulder.
Take them to the beach.
Right. Everywhere.
Nothing hotter than a hot Israeli chick with an Uzi.
Maria wants to know, should schools still be gun-free zones? No.
Gun-free zones are the most dangerous places. That's where all the bad guys go.
Well, and there's a report here that allegedly there was another place she wanted to attack first, but she didn't go there because they did have security. And the reason she chose this school is because they were a soft target. And of course, the liberals were like, "Oh, there's no evidence of that." Well, she wrote it in the freaking manifesto. Right. She had no choice.
Yep.
She had no choice. They're trying to come after her. So, yeah, it's all stupid.
Every school should have security. What is the problem with, like, here's the deal. You get all these idiots that say school, well, you don't want to put, guards in schools. You put them in banks. Right, what?
Right.
Money's more important than kids. They have campus police. Those guys, all you college kids are all a bunch of drunks causing problems. That's what it is. They got to have it.
Oh, my brother-in-law's watching.
Yeah?
Mike Davis. Hi, Mike.
Awesome. So, I mean, it's just, look where they put security. They put it everywhere. Why? Because there are bad people everywhere.
Jim Booth says there are more armed guards at an NFL game than our schools.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's what I'll tell you. There's not enough armed at places where there's that many people. It's just too much of an easy target.
Well, and the same politicians that don't want armed guards in school have armed guards at their capital. So
right.
Yeah.
They have bodyguards. You shouldn't be able to, have guns. Well, your Secret Service guys have guns. Well, that's different because I'm important.
Yeah.
Right.
Not to me.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said it. They don't hate guns. They hate private ownership of guns. There's a difference. They're perfectly fine with military having guns. They're perfectly fine with security guards at the Oscars having guns. They're perfectly fine with the Secret Service having guns. Sometimes they're fine with cops having guns when they're protecting the Capitol And sometimes they're not fine with cops having guns when they say they're shooting unarmed black men in the back, but they're okay with the government having guns. What they don't want is you having guns. So liberals are not anti-gun. They're anti you having a gun. There's a big difference.
Hey, did you talk to Spradley about the 8-ish shirts?
I did.
All right. So I don't want to hear that's my fault again.
No, I did. I reached
Especially
out to
on
him.
my
We're
birthday.
in some message exchanges.
So
So that's horrible.
says,
So obviously focus on the victims. I don't like it when they post these people's names. There's all kinds of evidence out there that a lot of them do this for the media attention, for the copycat style stuff. So don't
When are
watch
we gonna
anything
get
that
to-
wants to focus on these people.
Let me ask you. Right. No, you're right. Like, when are we going to get to read the manifesto? How come we can't read that?
Because it's a liberal manifesto.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, she wrote
a manifesto,
big
right,
thing
which is a notebook thing or
telling
whatever
why
about
she
why
did
they
it.
do it.
And they're not releasing it. And I want to know why. And I want to know why they're not releasing it.
Right. Well,
They
they
have
asked
it.
Joe Biden if this was a hate crime targeted at Christians. He's like, I don't know. It's too early to tell. You're not going to tell me that this was a mosque or something that got
Okay.
shot up that he wouldn't automatically be calling it a hate crime within 30 seconds of the shooting, or a gay nightclub. They wouldn't be calling that a hate crime within 30 seconds of the shooting. But it's a transgender person who attacked a Christian school. Oh, we don't know yet. We need to wait and find out. And again, I don't care about the transgenderism. I'm not going to get in the politics of that. The issue is protect the damn schools. I don't care who the shooter is. You protect the freaking schools, and it doesn't matter what their manifestos are or what their motivations are. They're not going to be able to go in there and kill anybody.
I sleep very well with the guy that guards my kid when he's at school.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be wackos from either political parties or mental health issues or whatever. Rather than focus on that crap, harden the targets, and then you won't have those issues.
Exactly.
My 2 cents.
Jim says, so supposedly there are plans for chaos starting on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Saturday's supposed to be a day of transgender rage or something like that.
Keep your head on a swivel. Idiots are going to do stupid things.
Look, they're
justified.
They are 0.001% of the population. So even if all of them came out to a protest in New York City, there'd be like 1,000 of them. So it's not them. It's going to be your Antifas and your anarchists that use that, just like they did the BLM situations, as cover to go out there and do the violence that they want to do anyway. They could give two shits about those people and what they're maybe going through or whatever's going on. They're just going to use that as an excuse to go out there and loot and rob and burn things down, just like they use everything as an excuse to loot and rob. And
that's why you need to keep your head on the swivel. Yeah. Stupid things going to happen Saturday.
You don't just have to do that Saturday. You should do that 24/7.
Well, yes, but
I can put my whole body on a swivel.
Saturday. Here it is. Here it is.
Swivel.
He's got his whole body on a swivel.
There you go. That's the easiest way to do it. Wearing my MAGA hat. This is MAGA country, bitch.
There you go.
Here it is. Don't come down here and do stupid shit. It's not a good place to do stupid shit. This is the anti.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Other than maybe Miami, but they wouldn't even do like a day of transgender rage in Miami because those Cubans down there, they ain't down with that lifestyle. So Miami's a weird city, but even the people who live down there ain't down with that stuff. So I'm not sure where in the state of Florida you'd have a transgender day of rage. You'll see some crap in DC or Seattle, but again, it'll be the same people that have been doing this shit for years now. They're just going to switch from BLM stuff to transgender stuff.
Yeah. It's just going to be idiots doing stupid shit.
Correct.
You know, like we'll see how many actual trans people go out and do stupid shit. It's going to be, like you said, it's going to be other idiots out there doing stupid shit.
Using it as an excuse. Yeah.
I will be ready to protect my family at all costs.
I'm not suspecting there's going to be a lot of. Did you see this? Just to end on a lighter note.
Good.
You know the QAnon shaman.
What?
The QAnon shaman guy.
Yeah.
From January 6th. Did you see they released it? They released him from prison today, 14 months early.
About time.
You think any of the videos and Tucker Carlson stuff had anything to do with that?
People are taking heat.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
QAnon
Did we release
shaman.
the truth about what actually happened?
Yeah, who notoriously stormed the U.S. Capitol shirtless in a homemade horned coyote fur headdress, has been released from prison 14 months early and moved to a halfway house in Phoenix, Arizona, prison officials said. That's funny. The guy got 3.5 years, and they let him. I mean, it's still a halfway house, but they let him out 14 months older. Coincidentally, about 2 weeks after the Tucker Carlson video came out that showed him being escorted around
What a
the place
coincidence.
and led into all those things. That's kind of odd to me. So that's good news. We should end on a good note, not with dead kids, but freed shamans.
There it is. Q&A.
Freed shamans. Maybe and he's now free to be on Trump's vice presidential ticket.
There it is.
They can both put their booking. Oh my God! Put both booking photos on the freaking poster. Him on top, him on the bottom, and be like, vote for these two guys. That'd be freaking. They could wear orange jumpsuits to the rallies and shit. That'd be awesome.
I think you're onto something.
Although, how do you think
don't even
Trump
know,
would
man.
look in an orange jumpsuit? Would you be able to tell where his like face ends and his jumpsuit starts?
Orange man.
Hey, looking like a Oompa Loompa.
Oh.
He'd look like an Oompa
Minnesota.
Loompa, I think. Orange on orange. So
Who's
there you
that?
go.
Minnesota's.
We can end
What
it
up?
on a happy note. Any last minute questions or comments in the chat that we should address before we roll out?
Jim Booth. So what happens if Trump goes to jail? What do they do with the Secret Service? Because obviously we can't trust the correction officers to just ask Epstein.
Yeah, I said that. They have to. He's going. Let's say the worst thing that ever happened on the planet is he got convicted and he got like 5 years prison. He will have to have his own separate wing and wherever they send him because he is still going to be entitled to 24/7 Secret Service staff. So they're not going to put him in a cell with a Secret Service guy and like two big muscular dudes in the corner sharing a toilet. They're going to have to give him like his own wing in his own place because he's still going to be entitled to Secret Service protection. That's what the whole funny thing is about booking. You know, normally when you get booked, you don't bring your people with you. They freaking wheel you in the thing and they take your photo or whatever. But he has to have a Secret Service person standing next to him the whole time he gets booked into the sheriff's thing. It's going to be a hilarious logistical nightmare. The sheriff might be like, screw you. He's got to come here at 9. The Secret Service is going to go, screw you. We're going to bring him there. We want to bring him there because we got to secure the city. We got to make sure the streets are clear. Like, it's going to be freaking an insane logistical nightmare just to get him booked. God forbid if he got sentenced to any sort of time in prison. I don't know how the hell they would accomplish that. It would be quite interesting. But he doesn't lose his Secret Service protection just because he gets convicted. They'd have to figure something out. Maybe they'll sentence him to house arrest at Mar-a-Lago, and the poor guy will be 24/7 at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. Bradley says, dress Mike as QAnon shaman.
That's Halloween. That's what we should do for Frontside Press Halloween.
Nope.
I'll get a Trump mask and an orange jumpsuit. You get a bull moose lodge helmet and a red orange jumpsuit, and we'll walk around town.
That's awesome.
All right.
All right.
We done? Oh.
All right. So if there's no other comments, so we're gonna wrap it up. So Trump's been indicted. Another shooting. Protect your kids in your school. Keep an eye out on Saturday. Just keep an eye out every day. And the shaman is freed. The shaman is freed. The shaman is freed. So there you go. Frontside Press every Thursday, 8-ish. Frontside Press on Facebook. Musings with MGL on YouTube. Please subscribe. And we also talked about hot food and hot things were in Mike's mouth. That'll get you lots of views. This isn't OnlyFans though, so that's a whole different website. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Most important thing. Happy birthday. Congratulations. You made it again.
Who'd have thunk it? Thanks everybody that wished me happy birthday and sharing my birthday with me.
Next week will be Easter edition because next Sunday's Easter. So on Thursday we'll do an Easter edition. Bring
Easter
a
law.
bunny ears, or we'll talk about what does the Easter bunny carry when he breaks into people's houses without a warrant multiple times in a single night. So can you shoot the Easter bunny if it's a home invasion? Actually, next Thursday will be first Tuesday of the month, so Cindy should be here. So we will certainly talk
All right,
about
we can ask her.
the legalities of. Yes, we'll talk about the legalities of furry little creatures breaking into your home in the middle of the night next Thursday.
And
Frontside Press.
do giant rabbits taste as good as regular sized rabbits?
Good question.
Just want to
Especially
know.
with hot sauce.
It's just more meat, or is it tough? All right, wrap us up. Play music.
Roll
Thank
out.
you, everyone.
See you next week.